Sean, can you tell us a wee bit about the start of your cycling career, how you got started in cycling?
Well, it all started whenever I was quite young. It was my dad. Whenever he was starting out, or whenever I started, he was doing a wee bit of cycling round because he was a competitive cyclist. And then I just grew up around the bikes and it just all kicked off from there.
And what do you enjoy most about your cycling?
It's just all the hard work you put into it, and then once you get over that finish line first, it's the best feeling in the world.
Whenever you were growing up in the sort of late 80s, 90s, did you have any role models, in cycling? Who did you really look up to, and even locally or internationally?
Well, it never really. Whenever in the 90s, I'm only 20, so I wasn't really into it by then. But whenever I did get into cycling, Lance Armstrong was around, and he's still an idol I would look up to.
And how important was Banbridge Cycling Club to your development as you grew up in cycling? How important was the club structure and any advice or coaching that you could get?
They were the start of it. My dad, he got me into the bike, but they were the ones that taught me how to race and how to ride a time trial and how to ride a road race and just sort of the tactics of the whole thing, which is the most important thing about a bike race. So they were a big impact on my cycling.
And how helpful was it to have a structured calendar of cycle racing events throughout Ulster at youth level? Was that important for your development?
It was good for learning. The taking part, as my dad had always said, was really good, and the way everything was run every week, maybe there was a race on close by, and just getting there and meeting new people and meeting new friends, and that bit of competition just made you that little bit hungry.
And when did you decide really that you wanted to become a full-time cyclist and go and race on the continent?
It was probably when I was around 14 or 15. I was looking at the TV and watching the guys in the Tour de France, and said, "Flip, there's something I would really like to do." And then once I got to a certain age, that was just a big ambition that I wanted to do it.
And what determined your decision to go to France in particular rather than Spain or Belgium or any of those other countries?
It's just whenever I was racing here at home, I was always good on sort of the climbs and stuff, and people had told me you can go to Belgium where there's a lot of racing, but it wouldn't be there to suit me, so it just says France, and it seems to be agreeing with me so far.
Okay, and 2010 was your first season racing in France, is that correct?
Yeah, that was my first full season.
And how did that go for you?
This year now, it was a big learning experience. So it was. I never got any real big results, which was a disappointment, but there was a lot of problems throughout the year. So there was.
Okay, and are you aiming for a good season in 2011 then?
At the minute, I'm putting in some really good hard training, in in the gym, on the bikes 5 days a week, and I'm really pushing it this winter to try and make a good season next year.
You had a very successful Commonwealth Games. What was the preparation like? Can you describe the couple of months leading up to the Commonwealth Games in terms of your preparation?
Well, before that, in May time, I had a really bad accident, and that sort of put the Commonwealths out of the picture. I thought maybe I got told and I wasn't on the team, so I went back to France and started from scratch and worked my way up and just killed myself in all the races to get back up to fitness, and every week I was getting better and better and better, and then I come home to ride the Tour of Britain, and halfway through the Tour of Britain I just got this phone call saying, "Would you like to ride the Commonwealth Games?" And so I just said okay.
That's brilliant. And what about the actual day itself? The day that you won the medal. What was the atmosphere like in the team camp?
It was amazing. It was just something that all the hard work I'd put in through all the season, it was actually really hard. Mentally was really hard and physically, and just getting on that top podium just made it seem all that hard work was really worth it.
Brilliant. And how have things been since you returned from Delhi? What have you been doing since you got back from India?
Well, there's been a lot of dinners and a lot of meetings and stuff, and it's just everyone knows my face now, which is quite nice, and it's just one of those things. I didn't think it was so big, but back home it is actually really big.
Brilliant. And what about next year? What are your plans for 2011? Are you going to go back to France, or what's going to happen there?
Next year I've signed up for a new team, so I have there in Brittany. It's called Côte d'Armor, and I'm actually looking really forward to it now. So
That's great. One last question, Sean. Indian food or French food?
French food all the way.